Everybody, welcome back to the Face Off Figures channel. My name is Aiden, and today I'll be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends Silver Surfer from the mini comic book wave. This wave has just dropped within the past several weeks, I believe. We'll take a look at the box. I can show you the other figures that are in this wave, but Silver Surfer is one of them. This is our first Silver Surfer comic book based one. That's a mainline release in several years. Technically, since the Walgreens exclusive we got all those years ago, back in like 2018. We did get Silver Surfer a few years ago with the HasLab Galactus, but that was very hard to get because you would only have to fund the Galactus project in order to get it. But this guy is incredibly similar to him, but he has some key differences, and we'll get into that very shortly. You can find this figure at your local retailers. I got mine off of Amazon. The retail price is kind of like running around from $27 to $30, which isn't that great when it comes to standard legends because we've been working with 25 if you live in the US for the past like year or so, and I've been okay with that, but sometimes you get it down to nearly 20 like how it used to be. But yeah, if Amazon is probably the place to get it right now. I'm not sure if he's still in stock, but yeah, Amazon, GameStop, Walmart. I don't know about Target, but possibly Target, I believe so as well. So yeah, before we get into anything else, let's take a look at the packaging that he came in. And here's the packaging. Silver Surfer, as being a part of the mini comic book wave, comes in a retro card package. You're going to see right now, I kind of split mine in half from having the plastic separated from the card. But when he was in the packaging here, Silver Surfer there, the comic accessory was there, accessories, the board was behind him. Yeah, nothing crazy here. But I kind of want to keep the retro card itself. It's cool. I really like the design of when they make these because they use comic art primarily, and then they have like the top corner corner image that they have, but it's using a render of the actual figure itself. They got the classic original Silver Surfer logo there. That's really awesome in green. And we flip it around, we can see that the comic comes with, and then the other figures that are available in this wave. If I had to get any other ones from this wave, it probably would be Daredevil. I really like that comic line, and also him where just the sweat hood and the bandana is really sick. I've always liked that look, but not a terrible wave. I think I like the first wave a little bit more, but I don't really, like I said, plan on getting any more. Probably Daredevil on a whim if I wanted to. But we have a little quick character description here if I want to close up on it. It says, in Silver Surfer 1, the Sentinel of the Space Waves reflects upon his transformation from Norrin Radd into the Herald of Galactus and his banishment to Earth. And iconic. Absolutely iconic cover. I'll show more about that in a moment because I actually do have a reprint that I got of this book, the original one from 79, but this is the original one, came out in 1967, which is fun because 68, I'm sorry. Yeah, I like how they make reference to when the book was originally published on these retro cards. It's really awesome, but yeah. That's it for the packaging though, and now let's get into the Sentinel, the Space Waves, not Space Waves, Jesus, Space Ways, Norrin Radd himself. Okay, so right off the bat, the first thing I can tell you about this figure is that basically what you see is what you get. And I think, honestly, for when it comes to a comic book Silver Surfer up to this point from the Legends line, this is the best I think we have gotten. I absolutely love the Walgreens exclusive version. I just got that earlier this year because I wasn't in love with my HasLab Galactus one. I know you're probably wondering, well, this new figure is literally the same thing, but pinless. I would tell you no, because I didn't like the paint that was on that one so much. Not just because the hue of the silver or like how that was done, but the paint would chip off whenever you would pose it. I would show it to you guys, but I recently sold that figure several months back when I bought the Walgreens exclusive one. But yes, what I like about this is that there are some slight enhancements, but nothing crazy overall. The articulation, I'll show you, it's very standard, but this is using the same Sunfire body mold we've gone with basically with a Silver Surfer figure and in general in the Legends line for the past like 7 to 8 years. But this guy's pinless. That is the biggest thing you'll notice first and foremost. But I also will say that, man, the camera's not doing it justice, but the paint apps on this guy are spectacular. Yes, I do prefer them over the Walgreens exclusive version, and this is it right here. I do love this figure. It is still a lot of fun. I always like this head sculpt because it's more of like the 90s look to Silver Surfer. It's like the Ron Lim when he had his solo book around that time. This is more reminiscent of like the Kirby or the Sal Buscema days with Silver Surfer with the head sculpt. You don't really have ears on this head sculpt comparative to this one. I mean, you can see him, but you can see the bumps on the side of his head, and the detail. They did pretty good with the paint apps, I want to say as well, because he has a little bit, if I can get the lighting just right, a little bit of purple underneath the eyes there. The photo real printing they've done on these comic figures and even the movie figures these past couple of years of Legends have been just tremendous, and this is another example of it, but done in a very, very simple way. Great head sculpt. I don't think you need another different expression. Silver Surfer is such a stoic character that I think this captures it so well. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of Legend's best sculptors, especially when it comes to heads, that I'm familiar with is Harding Studios. So you can follow him on Instagram. Shout out to that guy because I love his work on Legends figures because you immediately know that he had his touch on it. But yeah, I absolutely love this head sculpt, and it's just now been kind of perfected in a way because of the proper paint apps that have been done to it. But yeah, the silver on the body all around is just amazing. I absolutely love it. So yeah, getting into articulation real quick. Sunfire body mold. So you're gonna have your standard ab crunch, goes forward that much, coming back that much. He does have a waist swivel. He can spin his whole top torso 360 degrees. He does have butterfly joints. They can come in about that much and move back about that much. Always pretty good with range. Never really liked this hole in his back. I wish they would cover that. That's okay. He does have the disc with the ball on the neck, so he can move his head all the way up like that. That's pretty great. Actually, about that far back. So when you get poses of him kind of like wanting to lean forward on the board, you can. And then you can have him look down that much for maybe when that kind of looks funky there, but kind of more of a normal look down pose. Like he's kind of depressed, knowing that he helped Galactus conquer or even devour another world. But yeah, he has bicep swivel, 360 degrees, pinless arms that come in about that much. Not bad, a little past 90. Looks good though. Buff guy. And then with the legs, he can kick forward about that much. And then I think he can kick his own butt. Pretty dang close, nothing crazy. And he can bring that back. He does have a thigh swivel and a calf swivel as well with ankle pivot and rocker. So standard. He has standard articulation when it comes to Legends figures. Doesn't feel loose. I love pinless joints. It makes the figure so much less gummy. This guy's great in many regards, but man, sometimes when you're waving around different arms or you're trying to raise the arms up, it feels like the whole pin wants to fly out. This one, not so much. Feels very sturdy, solid, pretty great. But yeah, very standard when it comes to articulation. But I wish he was on a different body. I think it would have been great if we had him with the Renew Your Vows body, like we got with Spider-Man, obviously. But Daredevil, other characters that I think he would have fit perfectly with it. Maybe not so much he needed toe joints because that's been an included one on it. But, I mean, Silver Surfer's not a small dude. He's, like, towering. He's basically like a living statue, So I would have loved to have that maybe one day. But, I mean, I know that part of this release of having in a comic book wave, you just want to get a standard comic book Silver Surfer out on the market. The character did appear in a variation in the recent Fantastic Four movie, so I completely get it. But yeah, so you probably noticed throughout this review, maybe you haven't, he does come with grip hands. Obviously, it's to hold his comic book that he comes with, and this is Silver Surfer #1, like I mentioned earlier. It's really cool. I mean, I said this in my Adam Warlock review, and I think even in my ROM review. The appeal of these are not crazy because this could have been in service for a different accessory that would have been more useful for displaying the character. But obviously, this is the whole appeal that they're trying to make of the wave. I kind of like having mini versions of the comics that I like, but especially this one, I think I'm really cool with it because I do have, like I say, a reprinted original copy of the book, and I'll show that in just a second. But yes, you can use the gripping hand to have him hold it. These are the old sculpted gripping hands, but it's great for a Silver Surfer figure because it's always a pain to have Silver Surfer trying to have him hold his board like normally, not with like open hands like we've had with the Walgreens exclusive. Those are pain. Those are literally the wall crawling hands for Spider-Man figures. No, we actually got silver gripping hands. So yeah, he can hold his comic book, but we also have him hold his board. And this board is exactly the same one as we got with the Walgreens one, the HasLab one. They have not changed this one bit. He has one peg right there to stick his foot in. I mean, thanks for including that, but I would have loved if they did something different here. I think we're due to have some different design for the board. I know they're not going to go back to Toy Biz days and have it where there's like a magnet on it and you can have it on the bottom of his feet. That's way too much. I get it for like, standard release figure, but I don't know. I would have loved if we get like a Maxim series Silver Surfer one day, if that's even possible, and we get like a whole magnetic board or some other system. Another pin would have been nice so I could have place both feet on the board for poses, but I don't know. I digress. I don't hate it. It's fine. It's essential. You got it. He's not the Silver Surfer without his board. So yeah, he's probably calling my board, come to me. But yeah, it's nice that I can pose him. Just if you grip with the fingers, wedge it between the forefingers and his thumb. And the other thing about this guy is great that I was complaining about with the HasLab Silver Surfer is that when you pose him, the paint's not chipping off, at least for me so far. I mean, I haven't posed him like crazy a lot because, like I said, there's not like a lot new tooling with him, articulation, but, I love the character, and I always like to have a fiddle figure with that, but I've used the Walgreens figure for that, but I feel like they've achieved the same thing where you have a figure and the paint's not going to fly off every time you're moving a joint. So, but yeah, look, that's exactly what I wanted with a Silver Surfer figure. Now I can display him on a shelf and not worry about him dropping his board every 5 seconds, not even. But yeah, comic is kind of neat. It's, like I said, probably my favorite of what we got so far. But yes, this is the original one from 68. Back in June of this year, I managed to find at my local comic book store a graded reprint. I'll just show you guys. This is a reprint from 79 that came out. As you see, it's a little bit different from the original one because they don't have like the big premiere issue, but it still shows. This is Silver Surfer #1. This was Silver Surfer's first solo outing. This was after he got, he's not a herald to Galactus anymore. He's trying to find out like his way through the world. He's stuck on Earth. He can't leave. But this series is incredibly fun because it goes into what happened, how he become the Silver Surfer, how we base the main essential details of what we know and love about the character today. So it's really cool to own this. I got this for a great price. Yeah, but as soon as they revealed this figure several months back, I was like, well, I gotta get this because it's just like, the comic's just based on the same one that I own. So yeah, and this is the only one I've owned of one of these, not even Spider-Man yet, but I love it. It's really cool. So I'm gonna find a way to maybe display maybe this Silver Surfer, and then I'll keep this one on the shelf, the Walgreens one, together. But yeah, he does come with other hands, of course. He comes with the salute hands, like this kind of more familiar with like Captain America figures, but I do like these just because when you have Silver Surfer on the board, you want to have him kind of like posed up. I'll put up some photos as I'm talking about this, but yeah, it's great for when he's on the board, kind of like flying around, surfing. And he also does come with fisted hands as well. That's always an essential, especially with Silver Surfer. He does punch a lot of things. What I would have loved to have with him are cosmic effects. The Walgreens exclusive figure originally did come with 2 cosmic effects. This guy does not come with any. That's where I would have liked that instead of the mini comic book personally, or maybe an alternative head. I think I would have liked a screaming, like angry Silver Surfer head because that's an expression we haven't gotten with a Silver Surfer figure before. It would have been something nice and new to have with this. But anyway, either way, I mean, I'm quite happy with everything that we have with this figure here. He's not bad. He's fun. But if you don't have a Silver Surfer figure, it is purely for people that don't have the character yet, and it's like, hey, there you go. This is the way to have the character on your Marvel shelf or with your figure collection. But yeah, he's fun, but nothing extravagant. But let's get into the comparisons because that's where a lot of discussion I like want to be had. So okay, and yes, starting with comparisons, I've kind of gone over this already, but just to really have them side by side. On the left here, we have the 2018 Walgreens exclusive Silver Surfer, and on the right, we have the brand new Mini Comic Book Wave Silver Surfer. I already went over kind of the differences between the head sculpts. That's more like Ron Lim. This is more like classic Kirby, but also Sal Buscema from the 70s Silver Surfer look. Obviously, the paint, I think it's the camera kind of does it, shows it. This is a bit of a brighter silver. That's a bit more of a calmer one, but way more silver. Like I can see more of my reflection in this figure than I do with this original release. But it's interesting to see how far we've come. But to have the same like basic body sculpt is just not ideal. I hope that we do get an update someday of, like I said, renew your vows. Double Ab Crunch would do so much for posing Silver Surfer on his board. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of way to get expression out of the character, and especially with a bunch of fun poses with a different board design. But anyway, not bad. These guys look pretty cool. Seeing them next to each other. This is the, like I said, only Silver Surfer figure that I currently other one I own that's comic based. I didn't get that other Walgreens exclusive one where they made him the Fallen one, where he's kind of like that dark gray that came with Mjolnir. But that's a cool one, cool variation. It's basically this just repainted. And like I said, I did sell my HasLab Galactus Silver Surfer that used this head on that Sunfire body, but with a different paint. That was probably the worst of the three. So I like this guy the most. This guy's second now. And then I would say HasLab Galactus Silver Surfer is at my third. I'm honestly surprised that she's still standing up. I'm probably going to jinx it in just a moment. But here we have a Silver Surfer with one of Galactus's heralds that followed after Norrin Rad was Frankie Ray Nova. This was kind of a love interest, so to speak. I mean, I think it's a pretty accurate statement to say about the character, but shared a lot of history with Silver Surfer. She was prominent in the 80s comics and even into the 90s. She had a very impactful, spoilers, kind of impactful death in the 90s, especially involving another character we'll look at in a second, but she came with the HasLab Galactus from a few years back. She's fun. She's great. I don't really mess with her that much, but I like the character. I'm so glad they made a figure of her. The head sculpt is just amazing, but the hair is so much going on. You can look at that. Even the paint apps are done incredibly well. She's on the double pinless body, but she looks great with Norrin here. I'm most familiar with her, seeing her in the Silver Surfer graphic novel. I think Stan Lee and Sal Buscema did the Judgment Day. There's some phenomenal Silver Surfer art. It's a great Silver Surfer story that involves Silver Surfer fighting Mephisto, but also Galactus, and they're trying to save Frankie Ray. Really cool, really well done story. I really like that a lot. I highly recommend that one. But yeah, it's cool seeing them together. I really like that. I would like if they ever did a new release of Frankie Ray, keep the head sculpt, but maybe make that gold a bit more prominent. You know, it's too it's not shiny enough, basically. But I would have liked to see an update for that because it pairs well with the Walgreens one. But yeah, cool seeing these guys together. And another Herald of Galactus that's kind of well known, but this guy also came with the HasLab Galactus figure. Exclusive to that set is Morg. He's a very interesting character. I've always liked Morg. They went all out with his figure. He still is amazing. I mean, the detail on him, absolutely stunning. The sculpting is just, it's so cool. Awesome. Had a lot to do with Frankie Ray Nova. There's a great, I think it's in the later issues of the 90s run on Silver Surfer. I actually have one of the issues. It's got a weird embossed Silver Surfer. I'll put up an image on the screen of the book I'm talking about. It's part of the Morg saga at that time. But yeah, Morg looks great. He's still a bit taller than Silver Surfer here. I like that. That seems accurate because he's a big imposing figure. And yeah, that's Morg for you. I've also got to show Adam Warlock with Silver Surfer. These guys, I know I say like this guy's my favorite. This guy's my favorite. Because I mostly when it comes to reviews, I want to make a video about a character that I'm very passionate about. Adam Warlock was a character that I talked about in a video recently, or not, kind of like several months back in a review. But Silver Surfer and Adam Warlock, man, I love seeing them in comics together, especially when it came to any of the Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War storyline, or even in Silver Surfer's books, or they would collide in cosmic stories. Just great all around. I love seeing these guys together. Here's also what Silver Surfer looks like wearing the Infinity Gauntlet that Adam is wearing currently. I really like that. That's really cool. I can always swap that around. Even though Silver Surfer, I think they did it in a what if comic of if he possessed the Infinity Gauntlet. But I love seeing these guys together and how they look. Man, I absolutely am stoked. I love having my cosmic Marvel characters together like this. Obviously, I got to show Thanos, who's a huge character in Silver Surfer's books, especially in the 90s when it came to, like, I think Jim Starlin leading a lot of the Silver Surfer comic stories, but also in Silver Surfer solo books. I think there was, like, the Thanos quest. Really fun stuff, but seeing these guys together, absolutely great. Love it. I don't think the camera's picking up his face as well right now, but another prominent foe in Silver Surfer's, like, Rogues Gallery, if you ever say there is, would be Null, the King of Black, the god of symbiotes. His names go on. But I recently just had the pleasure of reading Silver Surfer Black, and Null is a main villain in that, and it is such an incredible book. If I had to recommend a Silver Surfer book, if you're a fan of the character, absolutely read that book because it honors the character in every regard. Honestly, I recommend reading Parable and then Silver Surfer Black because there's a reference in Black that is a reference from Parable. But the book just blew my mind. It's mostly because of the art, but how elegant the story kind of played out. And Null is a character more modern, more of a newer character, but I really like him. He's kind of like, all right, generic, like all powerful bad guy, but he's really intimidating in some factors. And I kind of like some of those villains when they're done right. It's not so over the top, but yeah. So having Null and Silver Surfer here, really, really cool. I would love if one day we got a Silver Surfer figure that was based on Silver Surfer Black, that kind of had a head sculpt based on the art from that book, and then we have his arm all blacked out. How cool would that be? That would be sick. But we'll see. Who knows? I thought this is a comparison that's pretty important to show because this is another figure that a Silver Surfer figure that we got earlier this year with the Fantastic Four movie wave. This is Silver Surfer, but the Shella Silver Surfer, not Norrin Radd. And as you might know, Shella is the love interest of Norrin Radd. So it's cool that they kind of made her character into the Silver Surfer, but the movie didn't really. I thought the iteration that was done on this Silver Surfer was phenomenal. That was great. It honed in on the character completely got it. But they didn't mention Norrin Radd. I'm really curious of what that could mean in the future if the character decides to return. But Julia Gardner, I want to say that's her name, the actress that played Silver Surfer, did such a great job. Her performance was just captured the character completely and was really had a great chase sequence in that movie that it was just stellar, literally on every level. But you can see how they did the standard kind of silver paint apps, but there's a little bit of brown hues throughout the body that they applied that I liked. But the head sculpt is great. She kind of has like the slick backed hair. And then, I like the design. And the board that she came with is really cool because it's kind of a different shape design comparative to just a straight, kind of gets skinny at the end and the fat at the end. But you still have the one peg hole, but I do like how they placed it near the front, not so much in the back, but you're allowed to do some other different poses because of it. And this can come off. I wish we got something with this, like this, with this Silver Surfer because you can't really put the comic one on there. Kind of looks, you got like a gap in between because of how big that other board is, but it's all good. You kind of on there, you can kind of throw Norrin on there as is now and, not completely tell a difference, but yeah, I thought that was important to show these two together. And this is a comparison purely for fun, just because these are two silver guys that have come in two separate waves with a kind of similar lineup with the comic book waves. Rom came from the first wave. I did a review of him previously. This is definitely one of my favorite figures of the year. But it's interesting to compare his silver paint apps to Silver Surfer because they're different. This is much brighter, well done, more metallic. Just evokes the character way better description wise than Rom, who's like a metal space knight. But yeah, both. This guy is just still so phenomenal. Like I said, one of my favorite figures of the year, but he still towers over Silver Surfer. I like that because Rom is a big dude. But yeah, I think they did cross over in one of Rom's books. I'm pretty sure because Galactus appeared. Oh no, I don't know. Maybe he didn't. I have to look back on. I own an issue where Galactus does pop in a Rom book for one or two issues. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. But there you go. There's the two Silver Boys. And last but not least, here we have Spider-Man and Silver Surfer, which is you can have a combination of characters that I feel like could be further apart from each other in some regards, just because of their background and where they come from and their power sets. It's so cool having these guys together. There is a Silver Surfer story. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it. I'll put the cover of one of the books on the screen to show you that there is one Silver Surfer story. I think it's where he's actually dying. But he visits Spider-Man. I remember a portion of it, and there's a lot of discussion about the meaning of life and what's the purpose of it, but of creation and all of that. It's very kind of deep, but very profound. I absolutely love seeing these guys together. They pair quite well together. Just when you have Spidey with his amazing friends in his look here, but yeah. So cool. But that is it for all the comparisons. So now let's wrap up this review. All right, and that's going to do it for this review. All in all, I really like this figure. I am glad I got it. At first, I thought I was going to kind of regret of getting another Silver Surfer figure, just because it's so much similar to the Galactus one that we got because of the head sculpt. But man, having that figure in person, seeing the paint apps, and now having the pinless for more sturdy body, I was pretty happy to say that I can replace the Walgreens one, which was a figure that I was already quite satisfied with. But if you don't have a comic book Silver Surfer in your collection already, or if you're a fan of the character, I highly recommend that you get this one. He basically comes with everything you could want out of him. Yes, once again, I'll say that he should have came with more cosmic effects instead of the comic book accessory, but that's the whole gimmick of him being a part of this wave. But I think the pinless paint apps, and it's just an improvement upon the previous version we got with the Galactus version. But the head sculpt is done better here as well because of the print and paint apps. So I'm very happy with it overall. I can't recommend it enough. And as you can see here, I'm kind of recreating Silver Surfer in the palm of Galactus' hands from a cover that was in Silver Surfer's from his 87 run, issue 48. I'll put it on screen, Past Sins. I thought that was a very fun cover to try and recreate at the end here. But so yeah, thank you all for watching. And if you have this figure, let me know what you think of him in the comments below. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys in the next review. Take care.